subscribe, and ring the bell to never miss an update. Nothing says spring like tulips. Today on Lady Mary Bath, we will explore the history of this flower, vases that were made to showcase this coveted bloom, along with care tips and ways to feature these in your home. Let's tiptoe through the tulips together. Tulips first arrived in Western Europe in the late 1500s by way of Central Asia and Turkey. And there was no other native plant on the continent that resembled it. And it was very exotic, much like Oriental rugs and spices. And it wasn't long before the affluent embraced this and grew them in their gardens. And not to be outdone, the merchant class wanted to emulate their wealthier neighbors. And it eventually became a commodity that was traded. And from 1636 to 1637, it was the Dutch Golden Age, when many of these bulbs and tulips were not actually seen. They were painted by famous artists of the day and put into books, and that is how they were traded. And eventually, in the Netherlands, they had professional cultivators because they didn't want to transport these fragile bulbs back and forth. And today, the Netherlands produces 80% of the world's tulips. It opened up a whole new industry in the Netherlands with tulips having such great value. And today you will find many of the same designs still available. And traditional blue and white that is a nod to Chinese pottery. In fact, the Dutch East India Company imported a lot of these that were reproduced in Holland. This is a traditional Delft vase, and you'll notice it's a bit bulbous in design. You could perhaps put a bulb at the bottom and let that tulip grow. And it is a very common design that you see in Holland today. And the 5-finger vase is one of my favorites. It has a common vessel. That's what you will notice about all the tulipieres, which are vases that were made for tulips. And they were meant to showcase each bloom separately. And this is a perfect example of one that is a Chinese design, although this one is from Amsterdam. I found this on shopgoodwill.com. And a hand-painted example from Portugal, also known for making pottery, is this 5-finger. And it has sort of a tulip shape up top, which is really interesting. This came from an estate sale. I paid $6 for it. Really glad to have it. And these were great for showcasing each bloom. Another wonderful flower vessel to come out of the Dutch Golden Age with tulip mania is the flower box, also known as a flower brick. And this is a great example of a hand-painted Delft item, and it has lots of small openings with a larger one in the center. This was typical of the late 1600s, and it has a great stamp on the back with Delft. I found this at an estate sale last weekend for $3, and that would have gone for a lot of money, even on the secondary market. And that is such a pretty piece. And this is a reproduction that's been made by the Museum of Modern Art. It's hand-painted, and it also has some interesting openings. This makes flower arranging so much easier and would be great for a breakfast table, bedside table. And this petite flower box has an interesting grid, and this would be a good example of one that was imported by the Dutch East India Company from China. It's been hand-painted, and that was also from the Catholic Charity Guild. And the bunny is not exactly Dutch, but it's hand-painted, and I found him too at the resale and thought he belonged with our vases. And of course, my dream piece is the grand tower tulipiere that has several sections that would have been displayed on a hearth. And today you will find those reproductions with Juliska or the Enchanted Home, and that is definitely on my wish list. I am so pleased to have some of the smaller, more affordable tulipieres. Tulips are perfect for spring and they're so easy to find this time of year. I picked these up at Costco. They were quite affordable. You can also find them at your local grocery store or florist. And most of the ones that you find locally are the single tulip, and that is the classic. And the care is quite easy. Unlike roses, you do not have to cut them underwater. You will simply cut about 1/2 inch to 1 inch, if you really feel like it, off the bottom with scissors or a knife. And anything that is exposed, such as a leaf, this one looks pretty good. Let me pull another one. If it looks like the leaf will be exposed to your vase, such as this one, you'll want to pull it off. Otherwise, bacteria could grow and we don't want that. And it's also important to take your floral food that you get from your packet here and mix it with hot water and let it cool. Otherwise, it has a cloudy appearance and that can definitely affect how it looks in your pretty crystal vase if you don't happen to have a tulipiere. And the one thing about tulips is they are heavy drinkers. You'll want to top off the water every day, and you can also change it out daily. Flower food will probably get you through maybe 2 days in between. And you'll notice these here that I have not opened up are still rather tight. These are very fresh tulips. And what I've done is I've exposed these to light so that they would open up a bit, and you'll see what a difference it makes. Tulips will show some signs of gravity. They will fall, and they sort of have a mind of their own. You can walk into a room hours later after you've placed an arrangement on the table and they're going every which way. And if you want to correct that, then simply take them, wrap them in thick paper, place them in a vase, and they will straighten out. I usually don't cut my tulips until the day of the event because I want to make sure that I have a bit more control of them. And any heat source or light source will cause them not only to open, but to actually move. And a fun fact about tulips is they still grow after they're cut. So this tulip will grow 1 to 2 inches while I have it in a vase. Isn't that amazing? And they are just so easy to work with. I look forward to spring so that I can create beautiful arrangements with tulips. Now the fun part, we get to fill our vessels and place the flowers. So here I have the flower food that's already been diluted into warm water and it is cooled. And I'm going to just fill this vessel. The neat thing about the tulipieres is that they have a common vessel. So you just pour water in and it's got everything covered. And remember that you will have to replenish water quite often. I'm just going to start with a minimum amount and then I can top it off. The flower brick, oh, I cannot wait to arrange those. Such fun. And this is such a small opening, but I think we got it. And I also bought some palms so that we could fit them into the small openings of the flower bricks. Okay, and our last vase, the Delft. And once you add some of the water that has flower food, you can easily put some more water in, whether it is purified or not, really doesn't matter. You already have some flower food in, so that's fine. You can just top it off. Okay, just add a little bit more here. Okay, now we're ready to place our flowers. This is the first time I've actually arranged flowers in my new 5-finger vases. And tulips can be a bit intimidating because it is an exotic flower that comes around once a year. But actually, I think these are much easier to arrange than roses. You don't require underwater cutting. They're just such fun. And see here, I'm taking the leaf off so it's not exposed underwater. That will keep our water fresher. And you could easily put 2 or 3 in each opening. And what I love about these vases is that it's a common reservoir. So it looks like you've got several different vases, but it's actually one water reservoir. And it's so easy to work with. I'm just amazed. Can't wait to collect more of these beautiful vessels, especially the flower bricks. And here I'm opening up the leaves a bit to add stability and interest. And in the Delft vase, I will place just a variety of colors, and that's actually going to be quite easy to arrange. And as they open up, they will take on a life of their own and look even more interesting. And I'm glad that I exposed these to light to open these up so that you could see the beauty inside the tulip. Oh, now we get to the fun part with the flower bricks. What a deal this was at the estate sale. You know, I think I've probably seen these before and never knew what they were. And it's like a built-in flower frog. Here I'm placing some Euro palms in the flower bricks. That way we can just add a bit of filler and it's a great spring look. I think if it's all tulips, it's a bit boring, and this will liven it up. And even in the 5-finger vases, you could place any kind of flower. It doesn't have to be a tulip. That's just seasonal. And most of these that I found are blue and white. I'll have to keep an eye out for more. I know that they do go pretty quickly on shopgoodwill.com. There was a lot of bidding on mine. I had to set my timer, but I got it for a really good deal. I think it was probably $15 on that Chinese-inspired 5-finger vase. And I like a single tulip in the center of the medium-sized flower brick because it is a smaller piece. And I did try to put tulips in the small holes just to see if it would fit, and it doesn't. So that's when you need the smaller flowers to accent. And I would have used some from my cutting garden, but we had a freeze and there's nothing left. And I'll leave this as a double and put a tulip next to it. That will help it stand up a bit better. And this small size actually is probably my favorite. That could be placed on a breakfast tray in a guest room, or even on a large silver tray if you have maybe a bottle of champagne and some glasses, just to add some interest. I like the look of the yellow. I enjoyed arranging these tulips and the Euro palms. These are very inexpensive and it's a great filler, and I like the spring look. And now we're ready to carry all of these back into the dining room, and let's see what kind of table we can create. I like to say dream it true. Just 2 months ago, I did not have any of the flower bricks or 5-finger vases, and I barely knew what a tulipiere was. I had this Delft piece here. And I kept an eye out for charity resales and other opportunities. And through the help of Charity Guild Shop, estate sales, and shopgoodwill.com, I was able to very affordably build this collection quickly. And I sure enjoyed showcasing these tulips. And you'll notice that I've featured certain colors together. I didn't use every tulip color in each vase. And that creates a unique story, and I could take one of the smaller flower bricks and place it on my bedside table, or take this and place it in my living room. It doesn't all have to be on my dining table. But these are so beautiful, I think they deserve a table setting. So let's see what we can create. The table setting is inspired by the spring tulips and the blue and white tulipieres. And I found in my table essentials this applique and hand stitched tulip napkin. I found a set of 8 of these for $10 some time ago at the Bluebird Circle, which is a charity resale that I will feature in the future. And underneath, the depression glass plate in the dogwood pattern. This adds a nice texture, and I've layered this on top of my favorite white dinner plate, Cellini from Villorienbach. And the charger is also from Villorienbach. It is the Verona glass. And my tried and true Rogers Flirtation flatware with the floral design. And these Duratough glasses are great for iced beverages. I found these at the Charity Guild Shop the same day that I found the flower bricks. This was from the estate sale, but the other flower bricks came from the Charity Guild. And I am thrilled to have all of these resale items that were affordable. And in between the finger vases and the Delft, I have placed a Waterford Crystal tulip paperweight, because why not? You can never have enough tulips. And this is our inspired look from the Dutch Golden Age. The flower that was once worth more than gold made many fortunes and created a whole new industry in the Netherlands. Today they produce 80% of the world's tulips. And it is such a wonderful sign of spring, and I look forward to it every year. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary Beth. Elevate your everyday with tulips. Thanks for joining Lady Mary Beth. Please hit like and subscribe. I hope to see you next time for more lifestyle tips.